Hello, Stitchy friends! How is everybody doing? Today is Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. My name is Andrew. This is my dog Winston, and you've stumbled upon The Runner Stitcher. This is my channel where I talk primarily about cross stitch, a little bit about running, and Winston usually makes an appearance. If you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy what you see. You are very welcome here. And if you are a returning subscriber, thanks so much for coming back and sharing this update with me. As you'll see, I'm filming in a little bit of a different setup today, and that's because I am in Florida, not my parents' place. So got a little bit of a different view here, and hopefully the lighting is okay. The sun is sort of shining pretty brightly in the window that's right in front of me, but I think this will work for the time being. So yeah, as far as running goes, I haven't had any other races, but I have been running here in Florida, and the warmer weather has been much appreciated. Although today when I went for my run, it was like 43 degrees in the morning, so that still felt kind of chilly, but in a good way. It was much warmer than New York had been, and I'm grateful for that. So enjoying the warmer weather and the sunshine and just, yeah, being down here with my family. So it's been good. But let's go ahead and jump into the stitching today. So it's probably going to be a pretty short video because I think I've only got 4 whips to share with you today. So it might be a little shorter, which is fine. Since the last time I saw you, I was able to add in 3,758 stitches. So still a pretty decent stitching week for me. And yeah, I think we'll just jump right in. So the first whip I want to share with you, yes, the first whip I want to share with you is Saga. This is by Long Dog Samplers, and I will put a video in here of where I started. Here is my starting point for Saga for this week. So I'm hoping I can fill in all the rest of this half arch here. I think I'll be able to get that arch completed today. And yeah, we'll see where I go from there if I do get that completed, what section I start on next. And here is a picture of what it's going to look like when it's finished, sort of. Sorry about the glare with the windows. That's sort of what it's going to look like in the end. And I will show you now where I got to. So I was working on this final arch here, this little half arch in the second row, and I'm happy to say that I have pretty much completed it. I need to bring down the border just a little bit further and get a few stitches on the very bottom, but otherwise that little half arch is completed. And those are the 2 sailing owls that we heard about in the story from last time. I hope you enjoyed that story as well. But yeah, I was able to complete the arch, and that basically finished what I had to stitch on for the weekly goal. So I stopped there. So now the question is, where do I go from here? So I've got 2 rows fully completed, and I'll be starting the 3rd row. So I'm not sure if I will start, which side I'll start on, either under the house over here or under the sailing owls on this side. But here is just a close-up. We'll just do a quick close-up since we've got time today of what it all looks like. Hopefully you're seeing the top section here. And then here is the bottom section. So I was able to add 560 stitches, which seems about to be my weekly amount that I get. That put me over the 30% mark. So I'm 30.32% completed on this project, which is totally awesome. So this will keep coming out, and you'll keep seeing progress little by little. All right, and next up I've got my temperature stitches. So these are projects that I have assigned to different numbers, and whatever temperature is called for the day, I look at the second digit, and whatever project is assigned to that digit, I stitch 100 stitches for that day. Typically I look in advance to see what the projected temperature is going to be, so I know what I have to stitch on for the week. And so the first one we'll look at here is Autumn is as Joyful. This is by Lila Studio, and here is what it's going to look like in the end. And it only was called for 100 stitches, so I did manage to get 124 stitches in, so a little bit over the amount. And that puts me at 8.92% of this piece. I will pop in a video here of where I was when I started. Here is my starting point for Autumn Quaker. I'm working on the green motif in the center, and I will probably try to complete the outline. although it's only called for 100 stitches, so I don't know if I will get there or not. And here is where I'm at now. So as you can see, I was working on this green Quaker here, and it matched up. So I got the full outer circle completed, plus a few of the little ones inside. I can't remember if I had that done last time or not. But yeah, that Quaker is, I feel much better that it all lined up, and now I can just stitch the motif that's in the center, which will probably be the next thing that I work on. So this has been a lot of fun. This is stitched on a 40 count Winter's Brew by R&R Reproductions. I'm stitching it with the Vicky Clayton Silks 1/2. And I don't think I said for Saga, but that is a 36 count vintage country mocha stitched 1/2 with the Silks for You PR 207. So I'm just loving this Autumn is as Joyful piece. It's been so much fun to pull out, and I'm glad it'll keep coming out for temperature stitching. So that goal was completed. All right, the next piece that I was stitching on was Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. This is by the Witchy Stitcher. I'll try to pop a picture in here of what it's going to look like. This lives in this beautiful, fabulous bag stitched for me by Sarah Stitchy Spot here on YouTube. When we met in California, she gave this to me and I was blown away. I'm so happy that this project lives in here. I will put a picture in here, a video in here of where I started. Here is my starting point for Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage. I think this has about 200 stitches to get done. Not sure where I'll start working, but you'll see it soon. And this was called for 200 stitches, and I managed to put in 230 stitches, so that puts me at 38.86% of this project. And here is where it is now. So those 230 stitches, I think I filled in this kind of block stitching section of the black here. I also did a little bit more of the tree here and some of the lights that kind of go around it, the orange lights, which really add some dimension there. And I think those two sections are all that I worked on to get those 230 stitches in. So I think it's looking really fun. Like I said, I'm at 38%, so getting close to the halfway mark. And yeah, this will keep coming out for more temperature stitching. This is stitched on an 18 count Witch's Brew by Oblong Meow, and I'm stitching it with kind of a mix of floss that I had in stash, and I'm stitching it 2/1. All right, and the last piece I've got for you is my final temperature stitching piece, and that is Put a Bird on It. This is by Modern Folk Embroidery. Here is a picture of what this is going to look like, sort of, in the end. I'm stitching mine monochromatically, so it doesn't have all these colors in it, but this is the piece. And I'm working on that big blue motif in the center. I was just watching EJ and Sheila from the Sunshine Stitchers, and they have deemed that one the big blue. So I was working on big blue. And for me, it's not going to be blue, but yeah, that's what I was working on. I think I forgot to take a video of this one of where I was before, so I'll try to put in a picture here so you can see my starting progress. Now, this was called to get, I think, 400 stitches through temperature stitching. And I did meet that goal. And then I decided, you know what, I'm just going to make this my focus for the week because, you know, I had it here in Florida and I haven't really got a great start on this piece yet. And I knew I was way behind in the SAL. Not that that really matters, but I wanted to try to catch up a little bit. Anyway, I decided to make it my focus piece for the rest of the week. So once I finished all the other stitching, this is all I worked on. And I was able to add 2,844 stitches to it, which I'm super excited about. And that puts me at 23.31% of the piece. So getting close to a quarter of the way done. I'm going to try to hold this up for you here so you can see it so it doesn't shine through. I'm stitching this on a 32 count tartan green linen that I got from a D-Stash group, and I'm stitching it with Bestitch Me Silks. This is the colorway Dandelion. So here is where I got to. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. So as you can see, I did finish the big blue motif, and that is this whole big thing right here. And then I got a little extra done. I did this little star motif here that was sort of on the outside, finished in the K, finished in the D, and also started on this next Quaker motif that I'll be starting that's in this section right here. But yeah, that was a lot of stitching. So I think this motif is just alone, this motif is almost like 21% of the whole project. I think it's around 3,000 stitches, which is crazy. It's such a big motif, but it really is beautiful. I'm really, really liking how the floss is looking on the screen fabric. I think it looks really pretty. I'll try to bring it closer here so you can see, but hopefully you can see some of the variegation that's happening in this floss that goes from sort of a darker yellow to almost a pale yellow white color. This has been really interesting to stitch on. This linen, I'm not really sure where it came from or what it is, but it is very, I want to say like stretchy. So it's really hard to get my stitches to lay nice. On top of that, I'm using 2 strands of the silk since this is 32 count. And that just makes it really difficult to get my stitches looking neat. From back here like this, which it will be hanging on the wall when it's completed, from here it looks really great. I really, really love it. I think it's going to look great on the wall as well. When you bring it up closer, you can probably see that my stitches are not the neatest that they could be. But you know what? It's okay. I'm having fun with this despite the challenges. This linen is definitely probably the hardest one that I've ever stitched on, and still just kind of learning how to maneuver with it with 2 strands of the silk. The silk is also a lot fluffier than I'm used to. So the Vicky Clayton silks are very smooth and they don't have like a big fluff to them. The Be Stitch Me silks, they seem to be a little fluffier, and they kind of, I'm not sure what the word is. It makes it harder to use the 2 strands together when it's fluffy like that to get them to lay right. But I think the end result looks really good. I'm super happy with how this is looking and how it's coming along. So yeah, that was my focus piece. That got a lot of work this week, and I'm super happy I'm not quite caught up with where I should be in the SAL. I think I might be caught up for what I needed to get done in February, but I think there's still work to do for what should be done in March. So my goal with this is I'm not going to bring it out as a focus piece this week again because I don't want to burn myself out with the project. But my goal is to, maybe while I'm down here in Florida, to pull it out for another week or 2 as a focus piece just to get some really decent progress so that the rest of the year I can just kind of coast into a finish, maybe. We'll see. Best laid plans, right? Okay, those are all my whips. Those are all the works in progress I have this week. Focusing on those 4 and seeing some massive progress on Put a Bird on It felt really good. As far as plans go, the only plans I've got is my temperature stitching. So let's go ahead and I'll pop a picture in here of what the new chart looks like. So what was called this week is Festive Frosted Pumpkin Cottage will get 1 day, so that will have 100 stitches. Put a Bird on It gets 2 more days, so that will get an additional 200 stitches this week. And my Witch Whip piece, which is Autumn is Joyful, that will get 4 days. That was called for 4 days. That will get 400 stitches. And that means that will finish its journey of 1,000 stitches for the Witch Whip category, which means it's time for a new Witch Whip. Typically for Witch Whip, what I do is I have a wheel of all of my projects, and I just spin that wheel and let you guys twice. I spin that wheel twice and pick 2 projects, and then let you guys vote on which one you would like to be in the category next for 1,000 stitches in temperature stitching. Since I'm here in Florida, I obviously don't have all of my whips, so I couldn't let you choose from everything because that's not possible. So I created a separate Witch Whip wheel specifically for Florida with the pieces that I have here. So I'm going to go ahead and spin this wheel twice. Some of these you already know what I brought, but I'm going to go ahead and spin this twice. Okay, and the first choice is Put a Bird on It, which you just saw had some massive progress. So you can get it even more progress if you vote for that one and get me closer to catching up with the SAL. So that is the first choice. Then the second choice is, The Fruits of Plenty. Okay, this is another one by Modern Folk Embroidery. So we've got 2 Modern Folk Embroidery choices this time. Let me grab that piece. I'll be right back. All right, so the last time I worked on The Fruits of Plenty was, I think, over the Christmas period. It was called for my December Whip Go, and I think I pulled it out like at the end of December to get more stitching in. So here's what Fruits of Plenty looks like so far. The last time you saw it, I was working on this section over here. So I've got those top 3 sort of sections completed, and yeah, I'll keep going. But that is one of the choices for Witch Whip. So what I need you to do is in the comments below, I need you to vote for either Put a Bird on It or Fruits of Plenty. And then next week, I'll reveal which one was the winner, and we'll put that into the slot following Autumn is Joyful in the 1,000 stitch goal category for temperature stitching. So I'm excited to see which modern folk embroidery you choose. And yeah, I honestly think that's all I've got for you this week. I knew it would be a shorter video since I don't have as many whips. I'm definitely enjoying my time here in Florida and getting to spend it with my family, with my parents. That's been really nice. Running outside has been nice, and I'm super excited for spring and more weather on the way. But yeah, that's all I've got. Just a quick update. So keep running if you're a runner, always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now. Until the next stitch.